Hello Ranger fam, and welcome to another Power Rangers off-season review video. Today we seek sage advice, great wisdom, and maybe some impressive tech on the side. That's right, we're taking a look at the top 10 Power Rangers mentors. Some of them were great at giving advice, some of them were great at giving technology, but they were all awesome. There were 14 candidates in the running for Best Mentor, which is actually the lowest number we've explored yet, so I thought I'd explain. Zordon was the mentor for 4 seasons. Gosei and Mentor G each did 2 seasons, and there were 3 seasons that didn't have a mentor at all. So counting each of those just once yields 14 candidates. So let's get things started by taking a look at who didn't make the cut. Did Demetria make the top 10 mentors? Would no be a disappointing answer for her to hear? Did she really think she stood a chance? Sorry, Princess Shayla, one karate kick did not excuse an entire season of getting kidnapped and being a damsel in distress. Gosei, why didn't you make the top 10? Well, there's a simple explanation for that. Therefore, only one mentor fell into the honorable mention category, so I thought I'd take the time to mention him more individually. Captain Mitchell oversaw a huge operation supporting his Rangers and kept the team running very sharply. However, he was too often hesitant to explain his orders, and his inaction during the finale nearly cost the Rangers everything. So he falls just short of making the list, but still earns a salute. Alright, that means it's time to leap into this list. So let's see what amazing, wise, caring, intelligent mentor landed at number 10. Number 10. Nobody? No, I didn't leave this spot blank. What I wanted to do was leave a spot for teams that didn't have a mentor. Teams that had to guide themselves. And you know something interesting that I noticed? The 3 seasons that don't have a clear-cut mentor are In Space, Lost Galaxy, and Time Force. Lost Galaxy is a decent season, and In Space and Time Force are 2 of the show's best seasons. Having no mentor allows the Rangers to develop a bit more personally, having to show more character and resilience instead of just running to someone for advice. Now, it is usually good for the Rangers to have that older, wiser character to seek out for advice, but hey, sometimes the best mentor is no mentor. Number 9, Mr. Hartford and Spencer, Operation Overdrive. You know how I mentioned that some mentors are more focused on giving advice and some mentors are more focused on giving tech? Well, Operation Overdrive decided to split the difference by giving that team one of each. Andrew Hartford didn't actually intend to be his team's mentor at first, instead selecting himself to be the team's Red Ranger. It took his son learning what was going on and leaping into battle himself with the Red Ranger Morpher for Hartford to accept the mentor role. But this allowed him to keep the team provided with technology, and boy did he do a good job of that. It seemed like every single week the Rangers were getting either a new weapon or a new Zord. When Tyzon showed up, he had a new Morpher ready for him a week later, and 3 Zords ready soon after that. But this team would also need a wise sage, and that role fell to Spencer, the Hartford family's butler. Spencer may be the best character this show has ever had, which is really tragic seeing as he was wasted on Overdrive. Pretty much every Overdrive Ranger had a one-on-one moment with Spencer, and he usually had really sage advice for them, also usually paired with a funny quip. He was also able to step in and help the team directly at times, usually by being a very surprising master of disguise. He might have learned those skills in his time with the British Royal Navy, which he mentioned having a stint in. See, not everything about Operation Overdrive was terrible. Hartford and Spencer place at number 9. Number 8, Udana, Mystic Force. Udana is a proud member of the Ranger and Mentor School, but in a unique way. She starts out the season as a Ranger. In fact, she's the first one that we see morph. But then she loses her powers and thus becomes the team's mentor. It's not until near the end of the season that she gets her Ranger powers back. Udana was a great teacher, teaching the Rangers how to use spells and the weapons that the Zenitome provided them. She clearly regretted not being in the battle herself, which is part of what drove her to decide to use dark magic to rescue the Rangers from the underworld. Udana loses some points because the story becomes too much about her towards the end of the year. As Linkara said in his review of Mystic Force, the story becomes too much about the non-Ranger characters as it goes on. Except for Nick, but even then it's more about his heritage than his Ranger powers. I'm not saying that the mentor can't be a big part of the story, but they shouldn't overshadow the Rangers. The Rangers need to be bigger characters, more involved than these Rangers were. Galwit Eito Mentor! Number 7. Sensei Watanabe, Ninja Storm. Udana might be upset that Sensei places ahead of her, but what's she gonna do? Turn him into a guinea pig? As silly as it was having the mentor of the Rangers be a rodent, it was actually kind of a big change. The mentor was hampered. In fact, much like Udana, they were held back. They didn't have their powers. Advice was the best thing that they could give. And the Sensei did give the Rangers advice many times, but a lot of it was platitudinal, if that makes sense. Fortune cookie wisdom might be a better way to put it. Things like, a conclusion is only the place where you decided to stop thinking. But he did give them some good advice. He was a very good source of exposition, and he did inspire the team on many occasions. I didn't think he was any better than this spot, so number 7 was my conclusion for the Sensei. Number 6, Mentor G, Samurai and Super Samurai. G and Sensei were very similar characters, which I guess makes it fitting that they're right next to each other on the list. Also, G was the only mentor to literally be called mentor. Although neither of his names were actually really names, as G is simply Japanese for old man. So he was actually called Old Man Mentor. G raised the Red Ranger, Jaden, from childhood as part of a plan to... Huge spoiler! If you have not seen Samurai and Super Samurai, skip ahead 10 seconds. Hide Lauren, his sister, the true Red Ranger and holder of the sealing power. G had to help Jaden with that burden, as well as keep him in check when he got too into battling the Nylok. He would also help the other Samurai Rangers, as for example when Mike got a bit off the path, and G had to help him reconnect with his element. Also, he wasn't 100% traditional samurai, as he had a beautiful motorcycle and also enjoyed playing guitar. Go, number 6! Number 5, Tommy, Dino Thunder. Interesting, isn't it? Dino Thunder Tommy is my 2nd favorite Ranger, but only my 5th favorite mentor. What you gonna do? The thing that made Tommy a great mentor was direct experience. He was able to tell the other Rangers how things were going to be, how they were going to happen. Now, before they knew his history, those words didn't carry a heck of a lot of weight with them, but they did with us. It was almost like those words were spoken directly to us, the audience that knew Tommy from before. It was assuring us that this team of Rangers had a true legend guiding them. His experience being under the influence of evil was a huge, immense help when Trent was taken over by the White Dino Gem. In fact, while primarily it was a part of Jason David Frank's deal to go home for 10 episodes, you could say one of the reasons that Tommy was encased in amber was to make the other Rangers figure out how to deal with that themselves. It would have been just a little too easy with Tommy around to give advice on it. Even when he becomes a Ranger, he stays the team's mentor, giving them advice even as a Ranger. It made it a little funny to see him giving advice even while stuck in his morphed form, but hey, it was still pretty cool. I forgot to mention this last week, but I think his morpher is pretty cool with the key and all. Number 5. Number 4, Doggy Kruger, SPD. Alright, so let's talk Doggy as a mentor. He was in a unique position as a mentor. His A squad was basically lost in action, necessitating the promotion of the B squad. So he had to deal with a team of Rangers that not only probably wasn't quite ready, but that he hadn't spent a lot of time with. He showed unique wisdom placing Jack and Z directly with the B squad, knowing what they were capable of even if they didn't. He also was very good at keeping his team balanced. When they got kind of down on themselves, he did a great job of telling them what a good job they were doing. When they got too full of themselves, he shipped them off to Sergeant Silverback for some tough training. He kept a very even keel, never getting too emotional. The only time he got nasty with the Rangers is when he was remembering the loss of Sirius, and that was the arc that made him into a Ranger. And then even when he became a Ranger, he used those powers to continue training his Rangers. Doggy stands up all the way to number 4. Number 3, Dr. K, RPM. Finally, an element of RPM that actually supports my saying it's one of my favorite seasons. This was actually really, really tough. If you have Dr. K at the top of your list, I think that's a good list. This was all but number 1C. Dr. K is one of the most flawed mentors the show has ever given us, which makes her just an awesome character. She spends the first few episodes hiding in her lab, only speaking to the Rangers on a computer screen with a voice distortion. In fact, in a nice touch, the Rangers often refer to Dr. K as he in those episodes. She hides in her lab because she's afraid, as a young woman, the Rangers won't take her seriously. She's also the only mentor that is directly responsible for the evil she now fights. You could say Andrew Hartford taking the Corona Aurora and even Zordon tricking Rita in their coin flip contest. Extended mythology. But really, those were more ancillary. Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning! Dr. K invented the Venjix virus, hoping to use it to disable the Alphabet Soup facility and gain freedom for herself as well as her friends Jem and Gemma. However, she was discovered and taken away before she could put up the firewall containing the virus to Alphabet Soup, and it infected the entire world. Her guilt about that is a huge factor in her character arc. Dr. K was strictly a technology mentor. She gave very little advice, in fact, more often receiving advice from the Rangers as she began to warm up to them. She did at one point try to act as a warmer, kinder mentor, but that effort came across as stilted and forced. Not in performance, just in that the character herself had no clue about how to actually relate to people. Trivia note, you know how, minor spoiler, she and Ziggy end up together at the end of the show? Well, the two actors actually got romantically involved themselves and just recently got married. Congratulations, you two! My wedding gift to you is number 3. And here we are at the recap, so let's go back over this list before naming the final 2. Who needs a mentor? Teams without one came in at number 10. You handle the tech, I'll handle the lemonade. Mr. Hartford and Spencer at number 9. Udana cast a spell that secured her at number 8. Wise and cute, Sensei Watanabe climbed to number 7. Old Man Mentor landed at number 6. Hey, that hair was in style then. Tommy is number 5. More than just a morpher, Doggy Kruger comes in at number 4. Don't call it spandex, but call Dr. K number 3. So here at the final 2, we have the star of last week's video, RJ, and the floating head that started it all, Zordon. Now, I've taken a bit of pride in being unpredictable, so am I going to stun the world by saying that RJ was a better mentor than the one that started it all, Zordon? Number 2, RJ, Jungle Fury. Sometimes you can be unpredictable by being predictable. That actually sounds like something RJ would say. Jungle Fury did a great job of establishing RJ as just the mentor before giving him Ranger powers. Now, I already went into great detail last week about what a unique character RJ is. He would occasionally do weird things and confuse you, like going to a fishing tournament with noisemakers to scare the fish away. But overall, he just had great advice for the team and encouraged them with great wisdom. But I already talked enough about RJ last week. Give that floating head his crown! Number 1. Zordon, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Alien Rangers, and Zeo. Yes, even my rebellious attitude could not avoid naming the original mentor the best. Zordon was equal parts tech wizard and, well, real-life wizard. And he got his hands dirty in the battle a long time ago, battling Rita in ancient days. Alright, here's a little bit more on that extended mythology thing I mentioned earlier, because I'm sure some of you were confused. In the extended backstory of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Zordon and Rita had fought to a standstill. Zordon, wisely knowing that their battle would just destroy much of the universe and not accomplish much else, proposed a truce. The two would have a coin-flipping contest, and the winner would contain the loser. Rita agreed, but, and here's the shocker in this story, Zordon cheated! Feeling that this was too important to leave to chance, Zordon used the power coins and enchanted them. Rita lost, of course, but she discovered this, and retaliated by taking the dragon coin and imprisoning Zordon in a time warp before being contained herself. Anyway, for being contained, Zordon was able to do a lot, with the help of Alpha 5, of course. He was able to provide the Power Rangers with weapons, Zords, and powers basically whenever they needed them. He also gave directly of his own energy to give the team a power boost whenever they needed it, which is something that not many if any other mentors were even capable of. He was also brave enough to not ask for help when there was a greater good. When he returned to his home planet of Eltar and then it was attacked, he contacted the Turbo Rangers to specifically tell them not to come, knowing that it would leave the Earth defenseless. Sometimes the first is the best. Zordon lands at the top of the mentor list. Alright, let's see if, for the first time, the Viewer's Choice Award agrees with my list. And yes, it did. For the first time, viewers and reviewer alike agree. The best mentor in the show's history was indeed Zordon. The winner of this week's channel shoutout is Metroid Prime 6. They upload Let's Play videos, primarily of Nintendo games, so check them out, and congratulations. Alright, I've got numbers spinning in my vision, but there is still sorting to be done. So, team up with me and leave a comment below telling me, that's right, your favorite Power Rangers team-up episode. There have been either 11 or 12 team-up episodes, so I have 2 questions for you this week. Number 1, what is your favorite Power Rangers team-up episode? Number 2, SPD Dino Thunder, History, and Wormhole. Should I consider those 2 separate team-up episodes, or consider them together as one? Thanks! That's going to do it for another Power Rangers off-season reviews video. Thank you so much for watching. I would very much appreciate it if you would click the like button right down below the video to let me know that you liked this video. If you really liked it, go ahead and click the subscribe button. That'll notify you whenever I post a video to this channel, usually about Power Rangers, sometimes about food, sports, video games, or just my life, kind of an eclectic channel. And leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of my list, and also remember to leave your vote for your favorite Power Rangers team-up episode. Until next time, may the power protect you. Alright, I didn't get to show this to you guys last week, so I'm definitely going to show it to you this week. You may not be able to tell, you may think this is a single story, but I've actually got it downstairs. So I'm going to go downstairs to end the video here. So, alright, we're going to make the turn. Go down here. Like I said, may the power protect you.